Welcome back, traveler. Today's journey comes from The Alchemist, written by Paulo Coelho, a timeless story about following your dreams. But this isn't simply a story about treasure. It's the story of a dream that refused to be forgotten. Far beneath the Spanish sky, a young shepherd was about to discover his destiny. Let's begin.
As the first rays of sunlight touched the hills, the young shepherd was already awake. His name was Santiago, and for him, every sunrise meant another journey. He owned no castle, no great fortune, only a small flock of sheep and the endless road before him. To many, it seemed like a simple life, but to Santiago, it was a life filled with freedom. His sheep were more than companions. They were his silent family, following him wherever the road would lead. Whenever the flock rested, Santiago opened a book, because while his sheep taught him patience, books taught him to dream beyond the horizon. Little did he know that destiny had already begun walking beside him, and before long, everything he believed about his life was about to change forever.
The sheep trusted Santiago completely. They knew his voice, his footsteps, even his silence. Years of walking together had created a friendship that needed no words. Every morning they searched for fresh grass, clear water, and a safe place to rest. To anyone passing by, they were only sheep. But to Santiago, they were faithful companions. Without realizing it, they were teaching him something far greater: to observe, to listen, and to understand the quiet language of the world. Soon, that simple lesson would guide him toward a destiny greater than he could ever imagine.
In just a few more days, Santiago would arrive in the town of Tarifa. Every year, he traveled there to sell the wool from his sheep. But this journey felt different, because waiting in that town was someone he quietly hoped to see again, the merchant's daughter. She had listened to his stories, not because he was a shepherd, but because he spoke of places she had never seen. As Santiago continued along the dusty road, his faithful book rested comfortably in his hands. Most shepherds carried only food and supplies. Santiago carried stories, and perhaps that was what truly made him different.
Many people believed a shepherd's life never changed. Every day, the same hills, the same sheep, the same roads. But Santiago never saw the world that way. Every journey showed him something new. Every village held another story. Every stranger carried another lesson. His sheep looked only for fresh grass, but Santiago looked beyond the horizon. He wanted to know what waited on the other side. Without realizing it, that simple curiosity was already leading him toward his destiny. As the sun slowly drifted toward the horizon, Santiago searched for a place to rest. Not an inn, not a village, but a place he knew well. An abandoned church standing quietly among the rolling hills. Its roof had disappeared long ago, yet from the middle of its ancient stone floor grew a magnificent sycamore tree. To most travelers, it was nothing more than forgotten ruins, but to Santiago, it felt peaceful, almost like home. Tonight, he would sleep beneath those old branches once again, without knowing this quiet place was about to change his life forever.
Night quietly settled over the abandoned church. The sheep rested peacefully beneath the great sycamore tree. Soon, Santiago closed his eyes. It was not the first time he had dreamed this dream. In fact, it had visited him before, again and again. Every time the dream began the same way, it always felt real. So real that when he awoke, he could still remember every feeling. But just before the dream revealed its secret, he always woke up. And tonight, it would happen once again. The dream began, exactly as it always had. A peaceful field beneath an endless sky. Everything felt real, more real than dreams should ever feel. Then, someone appeared, a child, smiling as though they had known Santiago forever. Without saying a word, the child gently reached out a hand. For a moment, Santiago forgot he was dreaming. He simply followed, believing the child was about to show him something he had searched for all his life. Together, they walked across the endless landscape. The child never looked back, yet somehow Santiago knew he was following the right path. At last, they came to a stop. The child turned and pointed towards something in the distance. Santiago's heart began to race. He knew the answer was finally waiting before him. But just as the child was about to speak, everything disappeared. Santiago opened his eyes. The dream had ended once again.
Morning arrived with the gentle light of a new day. The sheep slowly stirred as birds welcomed the sunrise. But Santiago remained still. His thoughts were somewhere else. Why did the same dream return again and again? Why did it always end at the very same moment? Surely it had to mean something. For the first time, Santiago made a decision. He would not ignore the dream again. He would find someone who could tell him what it meant. By mid-morning, Santiago arrived in the town. His dream still refused to leave his thoughts. Someone had once told him about an elderly woman who interpreted dreams. He had never believed such stories, but today, curiosity was stronger than doubt. He followed the narrow streets until he reached a small, modest house. For a brief moment, he hesitated. Then he knocked on the wooden door. A calm voice invited him inside, and without realizing it, Santiago had just taken the first true step toward his destiny. The elderly woman listened, without interrupting. Not once did she look surprised. When the traveler finished, she remained silent for a long moment. Then she smiled gently. "If your dream leads you to a treasure, I ask for 1/10 of it. Nothing more, nothing less." The traveler blinked in surprise. He had expected advice, perhaps even a warning, but never a promise built upon a dream. The traveler stepped back into the busy town square. Everything looked exactly as before. Merchants bargained, musicians played, people hurried through their day. But his thoughts were no longer the same. Could a dream really change a person's life, or had he simply wasted his morning?
As he searched for an answer, he never noticed the elderly stranger watching him quietly from across the square.
The traveler sat quietly, watching the busy square. His thoughts still wandered between the dream and the strange promise. An elderly stranger slowly sat beside him. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Then the old man smiled. "What are you reading?" The traveler looked up, slightly surprised. It seemed like an ordinary question, but it was the beginning of an extraordinary meeting.
The old man looked at him with a quiet smile. "You've traveled with sheep, read many books, and dreamed of seeing the world." The traveler froze. How could a stranger possibly know all that? The old man spoke again. "Every person has a dream that their heart was born to follow. It is called your personal legend, and the greatest tragedy is that most people forget it."
The greatest obstacle is not the journey, it is the fear of leaving behind what feels familiar. The old man reached into a small leather pouch. From it, he placed 2 polished stones into the traveler's hand. When your heart is uncertain, these may help you listen to the signs. And remember, the universe always speaks to those who truly listen.
The traveler remained alone. The old man was gone, but his words remained. He looked at the 2 stones resting in his hand. For the first time, the dream no longer felt impossible. Sometimes a single conversation can change an entire life. And without fully realizing it, the traveler had already taken the first step toward his destiny.
Every dream asks for a price. Will he have the courage to pay it? Continue the journey in part 2.